I sat quietly at the Thompson family's Thanksgiving dinner, listening to my father and brother Craig boast about their latest corporate acquisition. Thompson Industries was about to merge with their biggest competitor, creating what they thought would be the largest manufacturing conglomerate in the sector. What they didn't know was that I, their underachieving daughter who chose government work over the family business, was now the chief commissioner of industry regulation. The same commissioner whose signature they'd need to approve their billion-dollar merger. Sarah, Dad's voice dripped with familiar disappointment, still pushing papers at that government job? I sipped my wine thinking about the stack of merger documents sitting on my desk downtown. Stat. Still in public service. Craig snorted. Can't believe you gave up a VP position at Thompson Industries for bureaucrat work. What do you even do all day? Stamp forms. If they only knew that I oversaw every major industrial merger in the country, that CEOs and corporate lawyers trembled when I called meetings. Something like that, I replied mildly, checking my phone as another message from my executive assistant came through. Thompson-Davidson merger files ready for your review. Significant regulatory concerns flagged. Mom passed the cranberry sauce, her diamond bracelets catching the light. Honey, it's not too late to come back to the family business. Craig says there might be an opening in compliance. I bit back a laugh. The opening in compliance would be reporting to the very regulatory body I headed. I'm happy where I am, Mom. Happy pushing papers while we're making real business moves, Craig boasted. Once this merger goes through, Thompson Industries will dominate the market. Right, Dad? Dad raised his wine glass. To tomorrow's announcement. The regulators won't know what hit them. If they only knew. My phone buzzed again. Press already asking for comments on Thompson merger. How would you like to proceed? I typed back quickly, standard response for now. Full review announcement tomorrow. Sarah, put that government phone away, Mom chided. Craig is telling us about the merger plans. I tuned back in to hear my brother describing how they'd structured the deal to fly under the regulatory radar. Those bureaucrats are too busy shuffling papers to notice the market implications, he laughed. By the time they figure it out, it'll be too late. Dad joined in. Remember when Sarah used to talk about corporate responsibility and ethical business practices? Good thing she's just stamping forms now instead of trying to run a real business. The irony was delicious. Their entire merger hinged on approval from the very person they were mocking. Tell me more about the merger, I said innocently. Any regulatory concerns? Nothing we can't handle, Craig waved dismissively. We've got the best lawyers in the business. Some government pencil pusher isn't going to stand in our way. My phone lit up with another urgent message. Commissioner, preliminary analysis shows major antitrust issues with Thompson merger. Full report ready for your review. The next morning I arrived early at my office. A sprawling corner suite on the top floor of the Federal Trade Commission building. The view of the city skyline included, ironically, the Thompson Industries headquarters where my father and brother were probably already celebrating their guaranteed merger approval. Commissioner Mitchell, my executive assistant David appeared with a stack of files. Thompson Industries representatives are requesting an immediate meeting. They're quite insistent. I smiled, imagining Craig's face when he realized who he'd have to meet with. Let them sweat for an hour. Then send them up. Also, David continued, the preliminary analysis confirms significant antitrust violations. The merger would give them control of 67% of the market. Just like I warned them 3 years ago, I murmured, remembering the family dinner where they dismissed my concerns about monopolistic practices. Before they thought government work was beneath them. My phone buzzed with messages from the family group chat. Dad, big announcement today. Sarah, you should watch the business news. Craig, finally showing little sis what real business looks like. Mom, dinner tonight to celebrate? I didn't respond. Instead, I watched through my office windows as a group of Thompson Industries executives arrived in the lobby. Craig's distinctive swagger was visible even from 30 floors up. They're here, David announced through the intercom. Mr. Thompson and Mr. Thompson Jr. are demanding to speak with the commissioner immediately. Give them the full security screening, I instructed. Then have them wait in the main conference room. I want them to see all the merger cases we've rejected on the wall. While they waited, I reviewed their merger documents one last time. Every flaw, every attempt to circumvent regulations, every arrogant assumption that they'd get automatic approval. It was all there in black and white. Commissioner. David's voice held a hint of amusement. They're getting rather agitated. Your brother just asked if the commissioner is too busy pushing papers to meet with them. Perfect. I stood, straightening my tailored suit. Let's not keep them waiting any longer. The conference room fell silent as I walked in. Dad's face went pale while Craig's jaw literally dropped. Sarah. Dad managed to sputter. What are you doing here? Good morning, gentlemen, I said professionally, taking my seat at the head of the table. I'm Commissioner Mitchell. I believe you're here to discuss the Thompson-Davidson merger. Craig started laughing nervously. Very funny, sis. Now where's the real commissioner? I pulled out their merger documents, complete with my sticky notes highlighting numerous violations. I am the real commissioner. I've been for 2 years. Still just pushing papers, as you put it last night. The Thompson Industries lawyers exchanged alarmed glances as understanding dawned. But, Dad struggled to form words. You work for the government. Yes, I agreed calmly. As the chief regulatory authority for your entire industry. The same pencil pusher you were so certain wouldn't stand in your way. This is a conflict of interest, Craig suddenly declared, his business bravado returning. You can't oversee our merger. We'll appeal. I smiled, sliding another document across the table. Actually, I've already filed all necessary disclosures about my family connection. The ethics board reviewed and approved my oversight specifically because I've had no connection to Thompson Industries for the past 5 years. You made sure of that, remember? Dad's face darkened as he remembered the board meeting where they'd forced me out for suggesting stricter compliance measures. Sarah, be reasonable. This merger is worth billions. Which is exactly why it requires thorough regulatory review. I cut him off, opening their file. Let's discuss the numerous antitrust violations our analysis has identified. For the next hour, I methodically detailed every flaw in their merger proposal. The market manipulation they tried to hide, the competition they'd planned to eliminate, the monopolistic practices they'd assumed would go unnoticed. This can't be happening, Craig muttered, watching his perfect merger collapse. My own sister. Commissioner Mitchell, I corrected him. And yes, it is happening. Your merger, as structured, violates 17 different regulations. Would you like me to list them all? The Thompson Industries lawyers were frantically taking notes, their earlier confidence evaporating. Dad just sat there looking like his world had turned upside down. Those regulations you called bureaucratic nonsense last Christmas? I continued. I helped write them. That paper-pushing job you mocked? It gives me authority over every major industrial merger in the country. My phone buzzed, a message from David, press gathering in the lobby. They're asking about the Thompson merger rejection. We can fix this, Dad said quickly. Tell us what changes you want. We'll make it work. I closed their file slowly. 3 years ago I tried to tell you these same concerns. You said I didn't understand real business. That government regulators were just obstacles to be overcome. Remember? Craig's face had gone from shock to calculating. Name your price. The room went deadly silent. Even Dad looked alarmed. Did you just attempt to bribe a federal regulator? I asked quietly, pressing the intercom. David, please make sure that last statement is noted in the official transcript. This is ridiculous. Craig stood up, his chair scraping back. I'm calling our senators. They'll overrule you. The senators on the Industry Oversight Committee? I smiled. The same committee I brief monthly? Feel free to call them. I'm sure they'd be very interested in this conversation. Dad finally found his voice again. What do you want, Sarah? What I've always wanted, I replied. For Thompson Industries to operate ethically and legally. Your merger can proceed, but only with significant modifications. I pulled out another document, a thick list of required changes. Complete restructuring of the deal to prevent market monopolization. Full compliance review of all operations. Implementation of the exact oversight measures I proposed 3 years ago. That will cost us millions. Craig protested. Being shut down for violations would cost you billions, I countered. Your choice. Just then, Mom's text came through to our family group chat. Reserved a table at Le Cirque for the merger celebration dinner. I showed them the message. Might want to cancel that reservation. This review will take months, assuming you agree to all required changes. Once. Dad's face fell. The press is waiting for an announcement today. Yes, they are. I pressed the intercom again. David, please distribute our standard press release about the Thompson merger review. Emphasize that significant regulatory concerns have been identified. As if on cue, we could hear phones buzzing around the table as news alerts went out. Thompson Industries stock would start dropping within minutes. You're enjoying this, Craig accused. No, I corrected him. I'm doing my job. The same job you all mocked as beneath you. The same regulatory role you thought you could ignore or manipulate. I stood up, gathering my files. Your lawyers can coordinate with my office on the required changes. Every modification will need my personal approval. And gentlemen, do remember that attempting to bribe a federal regulator is a criminal offense. As they filed out, thoroughly humbled, Dad lingered behind. Why didn't you tell us? About becoming commissioner. Would it have mattered? I asked. You and Craig were too busy building your empire to notice what I was building. Too convinced that government service wasn't real work. The merger. He started. Can proceed, I finished for him. Once you implement every single compliance measure I tried to tell you about 3 years ago. Consider it a very expensive lesson in regulatory respect. My phone buzzed. Mom's message. Sarah honey, since you're just doing government work, we won't expect you at the celebration. I showed Dad. Tell Mom there won't be a celebration. Not until you learn to do business the right way. On my monitors, Thompson Industries stock was falling. David walked in. Your dad wants another meeting. Your brother's lawyers want compliance details. Send them the full package, I said. All 1,000 pages. And make sure they know I have to sign every one. Sometimes revenge isn't stopping plans. It's forcing people to follow the rules they ignored. That night, the family chat lit up. Mom, why is the merger delayed? Sarah, do you know anything? Craig, busy reading compliance docs. Dad, family meeting this weekend. Mandatory. I typed, sorry can't. Too busy pushing papers that decide billion-dollar deals. Book with my office. We have an opening next month. Because success isn't just money, it's having the power to make sure deals are done right, even if your family learns the hard way. The next morning, business magazines covered my desk. Thompson merger halted. Regulatory concerns surface. Industry commissioner demands major changes. Wall Street stunned by strict oversight. And my favorite, Commissioner Sarah Mitchell, the regulator who keeps corporate giants in check. I saw missed calls from family and one text from Dad. We should have listened to you 3 years ago. Yes, I replied. But it's not too late. Your first compliance meeting is at 9 a.m. Don't be late. This paper pusher runs a tight ship.